What's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Suchit, and I help Google Ads agencies and freelancers grow their business and get better results with Google Ads. So if you're not already subscribed, please do so because I share tips every single week. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a very common question, which is if you should be running brand or competitor keywords in your Google Ads campaign. And this is going to be a little controversial because I know some of you are going to disagree with me, but I'm going to share my reasons why. So let's dive in. So when I run brand keywords, so the number one reason I run these is when a competitor or somebody is specifically targeting my brand name. So it's kind of a defensive mechanism because some of them are a little sketchy and, they're trying to pretend they're you and steal some of your clientele. So obviously we want to put a stop to that. So that's the number one reason I use brand keywords. But if no one is targeting you and you have a fairly specific brand name, I generally don't use them. I've also done it before when my customers have some sort of large brand awareness campaign going on. So they really want to make sure they're the number one search result, maybe sometimes leading people to a specific page because they're running, billboards, TV, radio, that type of thing. So I've run campaigns there. The other time I run it, or actually usually the only time I run it, is when the client has budget to do so. And really depends on the goal because some of my clients, they only have about $500 a month or so. And, their real goal is to get new business, right? So in those cases, I'm usually trying to go after new business and I don't really want to spare any budget towards the brand campaign, especially with the other items I mentioned earlier. The one time I really do run it though is there's some specific circumstances. One in particular comes in mind where, again, a competitor is targeting your brand name or your client's brand name, and they're doing it fairly maliciously, where they're pretty much like maybe it's e-commerce, and even their website will dynamically swap names, and they're really trying to almost pretend they're you, but pretend they're your client without actually necessarily doing anything. But it does happen, and then my client will get bad reviews, and people are, thinking it's them, and they're buying a crappy product and then leaving a bad review on their page, even though it wasn't them who serviced that client. So there's some situations like that where I absolutely max out the brand name because I really want to protect the client. The good news about brand is they're generally, I can't say that word today. They're very cheap, because Google Ads is all about quality score, as many of you know, and usually your brand name is going to be very cheap because it's you, right? So you're going to get a quality score of 10 and the clicks are pretty cheap. But if you have a popular brand or your client does, it could add up if they're getting lots of clicks. So that's usually when I run brand campaigns. Now, when I run competitor keywords, the answer is rarely. It's only when my client has an excess budget. So if we can't spend any more money and they're like, hey, Ryan, what can we do to get more? This is when I'll have the conversation with them. And I still don't always do it. One of the reasons I'll do it is if somebody is targeting my brand, I might go after them. Or again, when I say mine, I also mean my clients. I'll go back at them, maybe to hopefully stop the bidding war, get them to back off. But that's one of the reasons my clients will want to do it. The one thing to keep in mind is it's the opposite of brand because it's not you. So the clicks are very, very expensive. So keep that in mind. And the one bad thing about them is sometimes it can start a bidding war, right? If somebody's not targeting you and all of a sudden you target them, they might come back and do the same thing to you. So we obviously don't want to do that. And the big thing to keep in mind is I do get conversions with competitor keywords, but the problem is that the conversions are usually people looking for that competitor, right? And they're calling the receptionist and they're saying, hey, are you XYZ? And then the receptionist is like, no, we're not, bye. And then they complain, so you really have to warn your clients or your receptionists, if you're the business themselves, saying, we're going to get these clients, and you really have to guide them. You say, no, we're not XYZ company, but how can we help you? We're better than them because of these reasons. You have to be ready for that. So that's usually something to keep in mind. So a couple of implementation tips that I've learned along the years. I always put them in separate campaigns. So I'll have my main campaign, my brand, and my competitor always separated. That way they're not affecting the data of your other campaigns. You might use different bidding strategies, and you really want to have a separate budget. Okay, so I always have them separated. If you're running a competitor campaign, never use them in your ad copy. That's against the terms of service, but you can use the keywords. You just can't put it in the ad copy. So be very careful of that. For brand names, I usually use, official website as my headline 2. So I'll say like ABC company, and then headline 2 is official website, and then headline 3 might be their domain, xyz.com. And I do that because, again, if somebody's also bidding official website, I have seen help get the click, even though I might be in position 2 sometimes. And then for brand keywords, you want to monitor them and focus on the different keywords you added. So sometimes it's only one, but sometimes you'll have different variations of your brand name that all really trigger the same searches. So you really want to go after the ones that have a quality score of 10, because that's really what you're aiming for, and then it's going to keep the cost down. Anyways, that's my answer to the question. If you have other ways you use brand or competitor, I'd love to hear them in the comments. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on so you can find your way back. See you in the next video.